I'm going to tell you a story about the time I met Princess Mette-Marit and danced with her, and why I love Kong Harald so much. All right, this is a crazy story. So I just came to Norway for the very first time. This was May of 2019. I had never been to Europe before, and this was my very first time. I just came straight from a fishing boat in Alaska, took my money, came to Norway. And I had gotten on Tinder, of course, and I met someone, and then they were like, yo, let's meet up at Angst, which is a bar in Oslo. You got Uhurt and Angst right next to it. So we're at this bar, and it's like this little space, and the song comes on, got a beer in my hand, just dancing. Now I'm dancing, there's a few people, this is not like some one-on-one dance, but there's a few people around, and I'm like in my first week ever in Europe ever, right? So at the end of this one particular song, I step away, and everyone was like, yo, do you know who you just were dancing with? And I was like, no. And they were like, the blonde woman. And I was like, oh, the blonde woman. You know what I mean? Like, there was a few people out on, there was a few people, and they were like, yo, that was the princess. And I was like, the princess? The princess of where? They were like, the princess of Norway. And I'm like, okay, wait, what? What? That's great. The princess of Norway is here? Like, what? What? And I thought, wow, that's like, was there security? I didn't see anybody, I'm just like living my best life, just, I don't know. And they were like, oh, no. There's definitely security, and I'm like, man, because all I can imagine, like, is America, and they're going to be two big guys in black suits, earpieces, you won't be able to get near anyone. And the people there, they were telling me, like, no, like, Norway, but they're just regular people. They go out, they enjoy a bar, they have dinner, they have drinks, they go dancing. I mean, they're just like regular people. And I'm like, whoa. And I just always thought that was like really cool. So I was like, man, I grabbed another beer, sat down. I was like, well, tell me more. This is my first, like I said, my first week in Norway. So tell me more. I'm here to learn. So that's where I first learned about the king and Prince Håkon and his daughter, Princess Märtha Louise, right? And, they were telling me, and you guys are Norwegian, so, I mean, you already know. So they were telling me, yeah, Prince Mette-Marit, and she was a single mom, and he fell in love, and, that's who he loved, and that's who he married, so he wanted to be with, and everything. And then they were telling me about Märtha Louise and her dude, who was an American, who still is a black American, as a shaman. And I was like, a what? Come again? Like, okay, that's interesting. So the Princess of Norway is with a black American that's a shaman, and the Prince of Norway is in love with a woman that is amazing. Everyone likes her. She's a single mom. And I was just like thinking, like, and the king, he is in charge of all this and allowed this to happen. And I mean that in a way of like, I thought that was really cool because, in America, they're in everyone's, it's like, in America, they would never let you be who you wanted to be. If you were that high up, you would never get to fall in love with the woman you love, the woman you meet and love. That would never happen. They would be like, oh, this doesn't look good, or that doesn't look good, or, you know what I mean? And for good or bad, whatever, you just leadership wouldn't allow that to happen. And that showed me that the King of Norway was a regular man with regular things. Family things. He was a man, a leader of a nation. He's also a father. He's a husband. He's a father, because it's like, I could only imagine, he'd probably be like, man, to his daughter, you're a princess. You could be with probably anyone in the world, like literally anyone. There's royal families in all type of other countries, and we could set you up with this prince over here or this duke or whatever royal titles, and we could really, and instead, a shaman. I could only imagine how he felt when that news was brought to him, because I'm not a king at all. And if I had a daughter, she was like, yeah, I'm dating, I love this guy, he's a shaman, I'd be like, what? But you know, people love who they love. And like I said, that just gave me such respect for the king, because I was like, man, you know, you got to have a lot of grace in your heart, a lot of understanding, a lot of wisdom to be a king, to be a leader, to be a father, to be a husband. And it's just like, I just always had a lot of respect for him for that, you know? And, you know, like I said, in America, they would never, if the president of the United States daughter came to him and was like, I am in love with a shaman from another country and we're running off together, doing whatever, they would have been like, they probably would have offed him, for real. They'd be like, oh, no, that's definitely not happening. They would have offed him. They would have either went to him first and they would have been like, look, we about to give you a certain amount of money to disappear. And you can't answer her calls anymore. Don't answer her text messages. Literally, here's a bag and leave. And then when the daughter is like, Daddy, I don't know what happened, he's not answering the calls, whatever, they'd be like, what? Oh my God, that's so crazy. You know, I never liked that guy anyway. You should have never been with him. This is just something like what he would do. They would do that. And if by some magical way it was like Romeo and Juliet, and they were like, oh, and then, you know, the guy was like, no, I love her too much. I won't take the money. I'm going to stay with her. Then they would just try to leverage him. They try to find some type of like blackmail or something. They can figure out some way to make him leave. And if that didn't work, then, you know, literally he'd just be off. There would be no, no dating, marrying shamans. It is not going to happen. Not in America. And then on the other end, like a single mom that is a fun person, likes to have fun. You know, that's a different story. That definitely would be more acceptable than a shaman. I'm just saying from America's perspective. But, you know, what I'm saying is that in America, they would just never let you be who you are and who you want to be. They would never, it would be so controlled. It would be like, you're going to be with this person, you're going to be with that person, and then that's just the end of the matter. So, like I said, there's just like, always, from like the first week I was in Norway, I had so much respect for the king, because I was like, man, he is a king, but he's also a regular guy, but also a king. And it's just like, you know, you can sit with kings and still understand the common man. I don't know. I mean, you know, that's just my perspective. So much love and respect for Kong Harald. I mean, you know, he's never gonna see this video, but seriously, just from the perspective of someone who had never been to Europe, who had never been to Norway, that type of, I don't know, family drama, I guess you could even call it that, you know, that just made me be like, such respect for him. So, salute to the Kong.